Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kadash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. This is news and prophecy and news. Probably gonna call this yeah. Um, I don't have a title for this video actually, but it's in conjunction with the fact that we're in the year Karagma 2019, and this is it shows you that the spirit of the year is in tune with all these things coming to pass. That all roads lead to the RFID chip, NFC, cashless payment, which is the mark of the beast written in the book of Revelations. Alright, so I'm going to start with this. This is from marketwatch.com. It's quite a good article. Even has some gems um, you can take from it. I want to, deal Marlo, go into it now. Monopoly doesn't use cash anymore. That may teach kids some bad financial lessons. All right. So I can't remember which Greek sage it was, but basically he said, "Give me a child at 7, and I'll show you the man he shall be." Or uh, or possibly it was actually yeah, it's this quote by Aristotle. Give me a child until he is 7, and I'll show you the man. Okay, and these are things. Remember, this society, Esau, Edom's kingdom, personifies that civilization started with the Greeks, because really the rulership of Esau, there was many nations and kingdoms and rulership over the earth prior to the Greeks, and that thrived more than the Greeks. All you have to do is go to the book of Daniel, the statue. Daniel, the second chapter, the head was made of gold, and that was Babylon. That was the greatest. They had the most opulence out of all of the kingdoms, but it didn't have as great a size, or even before that, after that, sorry, was the Medo-Persian Empire, which had more opulence and you know and was more grand than the the Greco-Roman Empire. But the reason why that's said is because it's again that was them back then, and now they're back in the reincarnation, so they're personifying their own rulership from before. All right, and with that being said, that's why that quote rings so well. But we know that if you know anything about the philosophers of Greek, they really were Israelites, which really made Greek what it was. This thing known as a philosopher's beard, which denotes wisdom, and where what law is found in what with what people whereby you must grow your beard. Israelites, all right. Muslims is by choice, all right. But with Israel, that's part of a badge of manly honor, and it denotes wisdom, growth, virility, many things, all right. And that's why Greek was so great. But getting back to the point, you know, this is article I'm gonna read through. In a world of digital payments, parents need to be deliberate in teaching their kids about money. All right. Hasbro announced Wednesday it will release a version of the classic board game Monopoly designed for the digital age, but financial experts argue the game's new design could deprive children of important financial skills. So those 7 years that they spend learning, they're going to be deprived of it. Basically, this is being done to program these children to basically get used to a cashless society, all right, for the ushering of the new world order, all right, and get them used to the idea of RFID chips, the mark of the beast, this form of payment, and not and take away that sense of actually dealing with paper money, or even dealing with money in terms of a tangible thing, something that can be held, right? And you, as a read on, you're gonna understand why that is. In Hasbro's latest edition of Monopoly, gone out of paper money and community chess cards. Instead, the board game now comes with a voice-controlled artificial intelligence device shaped like a top hat. So they're getting them used to what digital interfacing. When you deal with over here in London, they took away the for years. I remember as a child traveling by the train, the London Underground or the Tube, all right, and basically always buying your tickets, queuing up and buying your tickets from people interfacing, topping before there was an Oyster card, buying paper tickets and then topping up your Oyster card in the local train station. They took away the interface. Now that you have to deal with computers, and that's really to prepare the people to deal with a computer interface. Now these children playing board games, they're dealing with a computer interface with those board games now. All right, designed to prevent cheating, players will now press a button on the top hat and dictate commands, such as paying rent or trading properties. The game is set to be released July 1st and is available to pre-order from Walmart and Amazon. Now, what you got to understand is it says dictate commands such as paying rent, okay, and trading properties. So they're getting people used to those children used to the idea of when they're of age, they'll be using a computer interface to do these things, right? This is not the first time Monopoly has reflected today's cashless world. A 2006 edition of the game in the United Kingdom featured Visa-branded credit cards instead of paper play money. Similar versions of the game are also available in the US. Late last year, Hasbro even released a version called Monopoly for Millennials, all right, in which players compete to buy experiences rather than real estate, all right. So now that speaks greatly, because it's saying, look, you ain't even buying, you ain't even spending your money to invest or to build something. You're spending your money to experience something, and really, I mean, you can gain, wisdom. It tells you, blessed is the man who's traveled. Basically, paraphrasing, blessed is the man that has traveled. Because you gain wisdom for it. Yeah, through experiences and going different places and meeting different cultures and seeing different ways for things to be done. You gain understanding. That's true experiences, but then really you need certain things, all right? And really being more productive would be utilizing your pence in investment within something, all right? Like we've invested our penny. The word invest means basically to put into your clothing, in your vesture, the money basically. Invest in yourself. And the Lord gave us our talent. We've put that in, invested in ourselves, in our clothing, in ourselves, and we're working that talent to multiply it, to make it basically beneficial unto ourselves, but more so beneficial unto Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Harakah Kadash. All right? So they're taking away that ability for them to actually understand that there's, you know, they're basically learning to compete to buy experiences rather than real estate. Okay, and that's why you'd have this generation that they're working on probably be spending money to go on holiday, but their life's in tatters. And Instagram and different social media platforms basically feed into that as well. All right, the new technology may appeal to kids used. The new technology may appeal to kids used to interacting with voice-activated digital assistants such as Amazon Alexa, Apple Siri, or Microsoft Cortana. Okay, so they basically it tells you that the game Monopoly is true to the monopoly of companies, man. They're offering it through these formats, so they're cornering the market. All right. Financial experts, however, remained on the fence about the game's educational value. It's a mixed bag, said Laura Levine, president and CEO of Jumpstart Coalition for Personal Finance Literacy, a non-profit that promotes financial education in schools. Not having access to cash, both real and play money, does make it harder to teach younger kids about money and money management. Board games like Monopoly can be important educational tools if used the right way. Educators and financial advisors have often suggested that board games such as Monopoly or the Game of Life are important in promoting behaviors tied to saving and budgeting. By removing the physical element of the game, Some argue that monopoly's usefulness as a tool to teach children about money is reduced. All right, removing physical monopoly money reduces the educational benefit of the game by glossing over the important task of learning to manage and count your money, said Nicole Sturbich. And I'm guessing all these people that Levine and Sturbich, these are all Amalekai names, all right? So it shows you who's heavy in this monetary industry. Director of Financial Planning at Buckingham Advisors in Dayton, Ohio. Um, Research has shown that children's approach to money changes after they are allowed to touch cash. Handling money made kids work harder, but also made them stingier about giving their money away, and that's no good for the bankers, is it? Because then they're gonna be more um, have a greater bond. I don't mean it in a wicked way. I just mean it in the sense of like they understand what they're dealing with. That this resource is limited, and they need to utilize it to the best of their ability to do the best thing by it. All right, in terms of what will aid and benefit them to position themselves better within society or whatnot. You know, that corresponds with adults' experiences using cash rather than credit card. Studies have shown consumers spend more when they use um, credit cards, mobile wallets, and potentially even cryptocurrency. The same is true of shopping online or with a smart speaker rather than in person. Yeah, because it's basically detaching you from the actual, um, you know, it's, there's a from detachment, detachment from the money. All right, and that's something that I've always been big on personally. I prefer cash in hand, dealing with the cash in hand as opposed to on my card, because I tend to end up being frivolous personally. That's something I learned years ago, like 15 years ago or so. As a result, playing with literal monopoly money can impart important financial lessons. Bankruptcy is a lot more painful when you have to reach across the table to hand someone your last dollar, Strybridge said. At the same time, there's also value in having board games reflect the real world, Levine said. This reality, it, the reality is this. The reality is this is the reality is this is the world they're going to grow up in. Bang. There's the point. If you want to take anything from this lesson, that's the point. The reality is this is the world they're going to grow up in. Aristotle said, "What? Give me a child until 7 years, and I'll show you the man." They're cultivating this new generation for their new world order of a cashless society whereby no man can buy or sell unless you have RFID chip, the mark of the beast, in their right hand or their forehead. All right. Even as a digital game, Monopoly is still exposing kids to play a version of the real world, she argued. Parents need to take an active role in promoting financial literacy. Cashless or not, board games like Monopoly shouldn't be viewed as a replacement for having real conversations about money, spending, and saving. Parents can't expect the games alone will do all the teaching, she said. The teaching and learning comes from discussion and guidance. We can use these other tools to make it real and bring it to life. Yeah, and that's true, man. That's what this society, Esau's got the society as is for his benefit, and evaluating the lessons that board games impart is just as important as playing them in the first place. Monopoly does encourage strong behaviors such as counting money, but it can also encourage risky financial behaviors. After all, the person who buys the most property tends to win, and requires and that requires a lot of leverage. If you feel maximum leverage is sound financial, if you feel maximum leverage is a sound financial lesson or strategy, it's a good teaching tool. Quipped David Harraway, a principal at Substantial Financial and Financing Planning Firm in Colorado Springs, Colorado, I'm guessing. Financial experts also emphasize other tried and true methods of teaching kids about money, for buying them to do chores, to allowing them to run lemonade stands. Even with these strategies, the onus is on the parents. And this is the thing, when we had our culture back in the land of Israel, when you was 12, you had a rite of passage, which was known as a bar mitzvah, all right, where basically you are now a son of the covenant, all right, when you basically hit puberty, when your balls dropped, okay. So you got when that basically happened, you became a man. And then that was when you went into your apprenticeship, basically, under your father, or under, most of the time, it would be under your father or someone near to king, where you learn, whatever allotted career pathway was in the family trade. You're given, blessed with a great sum of money and whatnot. And it wasn't that you were left to your own devices, although it tells you about the prodigal son who took his inheritance and went away and spent it. But really, under the guidance of the father, what you do is you put them underneath someone or underneath yourself. They'll learn for 7 years, and after that, they accumulate enough wealth for them to go out with the land that you've imparted to them. They have a wife, or maybe before they have a wife, they'll build up a greater house with servants to accommodate the beginning of a family. All right, but all those things, all right, they would have really, you would have went through many experiences that would have garnered a quote unquote entrepreneurial spirit, which really is a self-reliant spirit. Okay, that you're able to basically go out there and make shit happen. All right. When it comes to allowances, Levine advised that parents shouldn't focus on whether their child is prepared, but whether When it comes to allowances, Laverne advised that parents shouldn't focus on whether their child is prepared, but whether they are themselves. Forgetting to pay a child or allowing them to buy something with borrowed money after the allowance piggy bank has become empty teaches them the wrong lesson. If a parent isn't disciplined, you're sending a message that is loosey goosey, Laverne said. And that's real, man. All right, and that's Jake predominantly out in this world, man. They're like that. All right, so I want to grab two scriptures. First one is Genesis 13:2. And Abraham was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. That's true wealth. It didn't say no. It didn't say no credit cards. Yeah, it didn't say no form of cashless payment. It didn't even say paper. It said that Abraham, who had his name changed to Abraham, Abaram, basically meaning father exalted, was very rich in cattle, so he had livestock, in silver, and in gold. So not even platinum ain't mentioned in that. All right, it says silver and in gold. All right, so he knew how to handle his possessions because he had them in his possession. A bank is a new idea, which really goes back to the money changes in the temple, whereby you had to exchange your goods, which you possess, gold and silver, for weight for weight, to the shekel of the temple. All right, because that was the only form of tender that was accepted in the house of the Lord. All right, and let's go to the obvious one. It's the year of the Karabima. You need to understand this. It's Revelations 13, and I'll just jump to 16. And he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Now, no man might buy or sell, save he have the mark. That's why everything slowly but surely is changing into the interface of digital, digital tender, man, cashless society. Why is that? Because it's ready in the people whereby you can't use cash no more. Where the only way you're able to buy or sell is by the use of the RFID NFC. So with that, I pray you edify Shalom.